Good day, everyone. Another day to learn something new. So, are you ready? Okay, so let's have a game. So, let's have this four picks, one characteristic. So, I'll show four pictures and find out the characteristic of those pictures. Are you ready? So, let's start. Let's have the first one. Okay, so we have a rubber band, balloon, a toy, and a garter. What is the common characteristic of those? That is, so what is the characteristic? That is elastic. How about the next one? Glass, chocolate, window, and a plate. What is the common characteristic of those? The characteristic of those pictures is brittle. How about the third one? Gold, aluminum, spoon, and a necklace. What is the characteristic? That is malleable. How about the fourth one? We have honey, water, soap, and oil. What is the common characteristic? That is okay. That is known as flow. Those four pictures have the ability to flow. How about this one? We have starts from S. Any idea? That is strength. The characteristic of the four pictures is strength. Did you get it? So, what are the words that are being formed? So, we have brittle, malleable, strength, elastic, and flow. So, let me add these two words, compressible and expandable. Remember those words because you will encounter that in our topic. What do those words mean? They are the characteristics of solid, liquid, and gas. So, how will we describe each characteristic? But before that, let's have our objectives. First, identify the characteristics of solid, liquid, and gas. Next, classify the materials or objects according to their observable characteristics. So at the end of our lesson, you must meet those objectives. Get it? So let's keep moving. What are the characteristics of solid? I have here a glass. What do you think will happen if I will accidentally drop the glass? Okay, the glass will surely break into pieces. And that is one of the characteristics of a solid object. So, what is the characteristic of this glass? This glass exhibits brittleness. So, how will we describe brittleness? That is the ability of solid to break easily, especially when you hit hard. Will you please cite an example of brittle objects? Here are some examples of brittle objects. We have a mirror and an egg. So moving on, there are solid objects that can be stretched when pressure is applied. So just like this rubber and a ponytail. When I stretch this rubber, what have you noticed? The length of this rubber is almost twice of its original length. But when I remove the pressure, what happened with this rubber? It returned to its original shape and length. So that is another characteristic of solid. How about the characteristic of this rubber? Okay, it exhibits elasticity. Everybody say elasticity. So how will we describe elasticity? Elasticity is the ability of solid to be stretched and return to its original size and shape. Will you please cite an example of elastic objects? We have a balloon and a rubber band. Both of them can be stretched. There are materials that can be pressed, hammered, or rolled into various shapes and sizes without breaking. So just like this spoon, when I bent this spoon, what happened with it? It only changed its shape, but it does not break. So that is one of the characteristics of solid. How about the characteristic of this spoon? This spoon exhibits malleability. Everybody say malleability. Malleability, it is the ability of solid that can be pressed, hammered, or rolled into various shapes without breaking. Will you please cite another example of malleable objects? Okay, so we have the jewelries made of gold and silver. Gold is said to be the most malleable object. Another thing, we have the paper clip, which made up of metal. Even you bend it, you press it, it will not break. Did you get that? Okay, so let's continue. Some solids are made up of strong materials, so they do not break easily. That's why they last for a long time. So just like this rock, even I hit this rock so hard, then it does not break because it is made up of strong materials. And that is another characteristic of solid. How will you describe the characteristic of this rock? Okay, so this rock exhibits strength or tenacity. How will you describe it? Some solids are made up of strong materials, just like what I've mentioned, and do not break easily, especially when you hit hard or you applied pressure. Will you please cite an example of solids made up of strong materials? We have the rocks just given and table. Another are the metals, so they are also made up of strong materials. Did you get it? Those are some of the characteristics of solid objects. Again, we have the strength, malleability, elasticity, and brittleness. So how about the characteristics of liquid objects? Liquids have the ability to flow. So how do you think this energy drink and this dishwashing liquid flow? So let's find it out. I will pour this energy drink in a cup. So how does this energy drink flow? Energy drink flows easily. How about this dishwashing liquid? Does it flow easily? No. The dishwashing liquid flows slowly. Remember, there are liquids that flow slowly and some liquids flow easily. Did you get it? Very good. Liquid has the resistance to flow and it is termed as viscosity. Will you please repeat? Viscosity. So how will we describe viscosity? Viscosity, it is the property of a liquid that describes how fast or slowly it will flow. We categorize viscosity as viscous or liquids flow very slowly, just like the honey. And we also have less viscous or liquids flow easily, just like the juice. So that is the characteristic of liquid. So let's continue. How about the characteristics of gas objects? Gases are compressible. Look at the picture. Since the particles of gases are far from each other, they are easy to compress. Another thing, gases are expandable. So just like the balloon, gases fill the balloon so it expands. Did you get that? So what are the two characteristics of gases? Gases are expandable and compressible. Is there any question? Okay, so let's do this quick talk. What are the characteristics of solids? We have malleability, brittleness, elasticity, and strength. How about the characteristics of liquids? Liquids has the ability to flow. They can flow easily or less viscous, and it can flow very slowly or viscous. How about the characteristics of gas? We have compressible and expandable. Compressible, it's easy to compress, and expandable, it expands. Okay, so to test your understanding, let's practice. Identify the characteristics of each material or object. The first one, we have egg. What does the egg, what characteristic does the egg exhibit? That is brittleness. Number two, wood. Okay, that is strength or tenacity. How about the third one, the soy sauce? How does it flow? Easily. So that is less viscous. How about the fourth one, a garter? So a garter can be stretched. And the characteristic of it is elasticity. How about the fifth one, the peanut butter? It flows very slowly, therefore that is viscous. Did you get it? Is there any question? Okay, so before we end, let's reflect on this. Why is it important to observe the characteristics of each state of matter? It is important to observe the characteristic of each state so we can know how to use and handle them properly. Did you get that? Wonderful. That's all for now. Thank you and God bless us all.